Supreme Court of India just went and banned a social textbook, like an actual class 8 NCERT textbook. Gone. Pulled nationwide overnight. And the reason? A chapter talked about corruption in judiciary. So now the question everyone's asking is, bro, did the court just ban a book which called them out? Stick around because this one's wild from both sides. Let's get into it. NCERT, the guy who writes your school textbooks, released a new social science textbook called Exploring Society, India and Beyond. And inside this book, there's a chapter on the role of judiciary. Sounds normal, right? Courts, justice, all that. But the chapter also said something like people experience corruption at various levels of judiciary. It mentioned hundreds of cases filed against the judges. It even quoted former Chief Justice himself talking about the problems in the system. And then someone showed this to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court read it and called it a grave matter of concern and took a suo motu compliance, which means they've picked it up on their own. Nobody filed a case. And within days, they've ordered that the book should be pulled from all schools across the country. Plus, they've sent a contempt of court notice to director of NCERT and the education minister secretary, like an actual contempt of court for a textbook. Okay, but Supreme Court has a point. Hear them out. Now, before you go full free speech mode in the comments, let's be fair. Supreme Court's argument is not crazy when you break it down. Point 1. The context was missing. The book taught about the cases registered against the judges. But what actually happened after the cases? Were they investigated? Were the judges made accountable? Or whether the reforms were made? The Supreme Court's point is, you said only one side of the story. That's not education. That's narrative. Point number 2. The book quoted that then Chief Justice of India also admitted the problems in judiciary. But according to the Supreme Court, the quote was used in a way which made it seem like the Chief Justice is accepting the problems of judiciary. That's misrepresentation. Point number 3. This is going to class 8 students. These are 13 to 14 years old. According to the Supreme Court, NCERT is planting the idea that the institution which protects their rights is fundamentally corrupt, without balance, without nuance. You are not educating them, you are conditioning them. Point number 4. NCERT's response was shady. When Supreme Court reached out to the director of NCERT, the NCERT director didn't apologize. They instead defended it. And the Supreme Court was like, bro, that contemptuous. And CGI literally said that heads must roll and I am not gonna close this proceedings. So from the Supreme Court's angle, it doesn't look like a mistake. It was deliberate. It looked like an agenda to undermine the court's image. Okay, let's flip the coin because the other side hits different too. Many lawyers, journalists and academics are not happy with this move of Supreme Court, and their argument also kind of valid. Point 1. Corruption in the judiciary is documented and valid because we literally had a situation recently where high amount of currency notes were found inside the High Court judge's residence. So saying the judiciary has zero corruption issues is not accurate. And if NCERT can't talk about real issues in real institutions, what exactly is civic education for? Point number 2. There's a classic legal principle saying no one should be a judge to their own case. But here, in this very institution which was being critiqued, took a suo motu cognizance and decided whether the critique was valid or not. That's a conflict of interest. Point number 3. There are bigger fires to fight. Our Indian jails are at 135% capacity. 76% of jail inmates are not yet convicted. They are just waiting in the jails for the trial. The Supreme Court has suo motu powers. They must have picked that. Instead, the court went after a class 8 textbook. Critics are saying when you have that kind of selective urgency, it raises questions. Point number 4. Banning a book is a slippery slope. Critics say that today it's a chapter on judicial corruption. Tomorrow, can institutions ban any textbook content which they feel uncomfortable? That's a chilling effect on education and free speech. The real interesting question nobody's asking is, here's what I think most interesting part of this whole thing. We all agree that the kids should learn about the institutions, courts, government, police. We all agree that those institutions aren't perfect. The question is, how do you teach them? Do you say the judiciary is corrupt in a class 8 textbook with no context? Probably not ideal, right? But do you pretend everything is perfect and sanitize all the hard truths? That's also not education. That's propaganda. The sweet spot is nuance, balanced content. Show the problems and show the solutions for them. Show the failures and show the accountability reforms. NCERT may have gotten that balance wrong, but Was banning the book the right response, or did that actually make things worse? Because right now, most people know about this chapter than ever would have if Supreme Court said nothing. Ironic, right? So that's where we are at. A class 8 textbook banned by the highest court in the country. The Supreme Court says it was misleading, and the critics say you just proved that you can't handle criticism. But honestly, both sides have a point, which is what makes this so fascinating. Alright, I need to know what you guys think. Comment your opinion whether we should ban it like the Supreme Court did, or we should keep it, or should we fix the book and give the students a balanced opinion. Drop your vote in the comment. I read every single one. If this video made you think, smash that like button. It helps more than you think. Subscribe if you are new. Thank you to everyone who's watching and subscribing. Your support keeps me moving forward.